Evening all. Hope you're all doing fine this evening. Hope you can all hear me okay as well. So, lovely Sunday evening. Just going to do a couple of bits of quick housekeeping and then we can get started on things. See, I'm easy poor at the moment, so no keys. Unless I suddenly win someone. Mutara stream that's going on just now. Toxin, welcome in. Glad to see you. A quick shout out over on Twitch. Do that now. Seconds, just make sure we're all set up correctly. So, bit earlier than normal start time. I do need to finish a bit earlier tonight, so I've started a bit earlier. So let's see what I have set up at the moment. I can't remember what ship I'm in. Right, so I'm in the Terran Hydra. So nice. Everybody nice, Toxin? I was in Ventura last week. Yeah, but that might take out the Einstein. Or the Kelvin is more commonly referred to as. Take that out for a spin tonight. Just join a quick random and get warmed up. I had planned to save my endeavours for tonight, but I was on earlier on and I just automatically did them. So I shall try and remember and keep them for Thursday's one. It's a chance to win a T6 ship, so I'm going to enter that. Yes, these servers have been quite bad, Toxin. They've been an absolute nightmare. I think we've seen it on Spencer's stream on Saturday. I was bouncing about all over the place. It was unbelievable. And doing by the hives, I started on one side of the board cube and ended up on the other without actually moving. But besides all that, I'll get the a ground TFO. Not had one of them for a while, doing randoms, so been quite fortunate. That's whenever it starts. Just need to check my monitoring. Monitoring set up correctly, it's just getting no sound.
The invasion of Kronos has begun, but we will not
That's
fall.
better.
Their ground troops use gateways to land and set up inhibitors to block our troops from transporting to the
Hey,
combat zone. Transports
yes.
with soldiers are inbound, but
I've seen that on a couple of ships of late. I think somebody also mentioned that the Legendary Avenger's having some issues just now as well with it. But touchwood, this one seems to be intact at the moment. And forget to put full impulse on. That's always a good thing. Complex plasma fire. I should switch some of these over to plasma, but I've just not got around to doing it. I was actually in the Paladin about 3-4 weeks ago. I was going down a little bit of memory lane.
The troop transports from the starbase are moving toward the planet.
That is one thing that annoys me about doing this one, is that all of a sudden it stops actually doing the action.
Those gateways are emitting intense.
That is a known issue. If you go back into the ship customizer and just reapply, when you go back up to space, everything will be back to normal. It happens quite a bit when they do ship remasters or add new materials or skins or that in for the ships.
The troop transports from the starbase are moving toward the planet.
See if we can get more radiations. Yes, the Ranger will be the same, because it got the new skin and the remaster before they launched the latest bundle. I don't know what it is that causes it, but it happens. Every time they do a remaster, it happens. So saying that, I might actually switch over to the Atlas shortly. I've got a beam build on it. I was doing what I did, taking it out earlier on actually, but ended up messing around with the friendship.
The troop transports from the starbase are moving toward the planet.
Shout out Thornbird done. Great guy, I thoroughly enjoy these streams. Hopefully that pops up. Nice. To be honest with you, I wish my main had been a temporal recruit. I really do. That way I could get the nice TOS transporter effects and the flip communicator and so forth, but alas, it was not to be, and then by the time I decided that I wanted to have a temporal recruit as my main, I already had hotbox ships that on it, so it was too late. I want to change one of my alts to a temporal science. I believe the temporal event should start next month. So if that does happen, it's because I want to get a science captain built up fully, especially for taking care of the board queen and hive, etc. I don't think this one had any other skins. I know in general the Kelvin stuff looks better with POS, but
The troop transports from the starbase are moving toward the planet.
as you can see, it's not exactly a DPS build, this one, but it handles stuff comfortably.
The troop transports from the starbase.
I just don't see the point of trying to do DPS stuff at the moment with the state of the servers. So just fly fun ships at the moment. Oh yeah. I'll have a look at that in a minute. Once this is finished, we'll get into the ship, customise it, and I'll stick the shield off it and put the Type 0 on, and we'll have a little nosy.
The troop transports from the starbase.
Oh, thank for the 10k, it's just about finished. Yeah, I got this one with the Into Darkness bundle.
A Herald Dreadnought has entered the system.
I do like it how I get emails from YouTube saying you're now live. There's definitely something going on now, whether it be, if it's just a hardware issue, then that's pretty easily solved. Take them down for a day or two, and just say to the players, right, in between these events we will have 2 days of downtime to upgrade the hardware and reduce or eliminate server performance problems that we experience. I dare say everybody would be happy about that. Now, if it's not so much the hardware, but something within the code of the game that's causing the problems, then yeah, it's going to take quite a while to fix, because it's a very old code. It's not a standard one either, which really doesn't help, and everybody that knows anything about it is gone. Which is why I've had so many problems with them adding in updates, etc. because the guys are still learning and the code doesn't behave the way that it should. I want to say, first off, I would wait for a ship sale. They generally do 20 or 25% sales in just the ships themselves, or 35% off in the bundles, but it depends on what you're looking for, ship wise, play style, what you enjoy doing, because there's a lot of fantastic ships in the game. It just depends on what you like to do. I would say, apart from that Bizarre collector, which looks a bit too orange, but apart from that, it does look quite nice actually. Phasers that can survive a few shots. So every type of energy weapon's pretty much the same as the other. But for dual banks, few good ones would be, let's see, if you're just doing a fire at will build forward facing, probably a 5-3 ship would be the best choice. Take off all the not purchased ones, that'll make it a lot easier to try and find what I'm looking for. Stay away from the legendary ones because they're all parts of bundles. The Gagarin's a good ship. As a miracle worker, which means you do get the extra universal slots. A couple of good miracle worker traits for dual builds. It's a 5-3. You can do dual cannons if you wish. Or the dual beam banks. And the trade-off of that has Fire Will Extender on it just now, the Entwined Tactical Matrices, so if you fire off Fire at Will, you get Scatter Volley, and if you do, Torpedo Spread 1, and if you do Torpedo Spread 1, you get Fire at Will 1. So that's a good ship. It's also quite tough as well. The Achilles, it's not as tough, but it does have the best experimental weapon in the game, the hexacannons. Hey Johnny. So again, it's double miracle worker seat, not ideal, but it's a fun ship to fly. The console off of it, the Phalanx torpedoes, is one of the meta consoles as well. Does some damage, but also gives you increased fight speed and turn rates, so that's a good one. And as I say, the hexa cannons off it's absolutely superb. The Hydra, another good one. It's got a good console for pet builds. Again, it's double. This one's Intel Pilot, so you can do surgical strikes if you want on it, or you can just do Fire at Will. The Pilot ones are a couple of good uncon procs on there, and it's got a pet trait on it, which is good for pet builds, especially if you do the multi-vector assault mode. You get 50% bonus damage on that one. 10 Hydra, another good one. There's tons of them. There really is. That one's got a good console. The Agni Distributor trait's not that much to think about, but it's a good ship. Again, it's until 10 pops. Shangri-La's got a good console on it. The Kerala as well. The Atlas. I love flying the Atlas. Well, that's my main ship for quite some time. So there's a lot of options out there, and they're all good ships. Hey Kane. Edison's got the Heart of Soul trait on it, so attack back beta or 10 pops gives you more firing cycle haste as well. I would probably say if we're just going for one ship just now for a dual beam bank build, I'd probably say the Achilles. And purely from the perspective of having that absolutely fantastic experimental weapon, extra universal console slot, and a good console on it as well. And then if you decide to do a cannon scatter volley build later on, you can put the dual cannons on it as well. Right, so back to regular programming, and I actually have nothing planned for tonight's stream. This is just a chat and a play about. We can run some TFOs, we can do some content, If anybody wants to make me suffer, I can do a story mission, I suppose. Or two, if push really comes to shove. So unfortunately, not enough EC to do any gambling because for some weird bizarre reason the exchange has been extremely slow of late. I'd have thought that once Riser started that the exchange would have picked up a bit, but no joy. So, as for channel stuff over on YouTube, some of the stuff that we've been working away on. So one of the upcoming videos opening that is going to be on the Prometheus. Don't want to use AI, behave yourself. As I've not done that ship yet. Everybody's busy dancing. Exactly. Get off the dance floor and get to the exchange and spend some EC, people. Come on. Need my gambling fix. So yeah, so the next video out should be on the Prometheus. And then I am actually going to go back to the start of the channel. Now it's been 8 months now. What's changed? Without a shadow of a doubt. I've changed the approach to the videos. I've shortened them as well by only concentrating on certain things. So I thought it would be a nice touch to go back to, if I can find it. And of course, it'll be the one that I can't find. Choo-choo. Well, fair enough, actually. It's a thumbnail for this stream, actually. I am going to go back and redo the Constitution video. So with all the new shields that have came out, the different approach that I'm doing now as well. So I'm going to redo basically the Enterprise series. The Klingon faction. How could I put this? I do play a KDF tune. Matter of fact, I'll swap over to it just now. So, did it with the KDF recruit. I've done two. I've done the Delta and the KDF recruit. So, but it's got basic stuff on it. Now, I've got all of my C-store traits, and I went through and did all the ships on it. But what I don't like, personally, is the social zones for it. So I shall send off the ship. Obviously it's cloaked so you can't see it, obviously. It's not a glitch, promise you. So, what I'm not a particular fan of is that the shipyard's over there, and it's got a little bit on it. And then Kronos itself is a fair size, and you've got to go a fair distance to get to the likes of the exchange, the bank, the security officer. It's too spread out. But, and then obviously you've got to then beam up to the shipyard to do anything for your ship, and then if you need to go back down and get stuff off the exchange, you've got to beam all the way back down to Kronos to get it. So that's what puts me off aligning KDF even with the Jem'Hadartans. And it doesn't quite, they don't feel Klingon either. I won't say there's anything overly unique. Somebody's got Spencer's second worst D6 ship out. It's not, man, surprise, surprise, not even Spencer. That's unusual. But yes, so that's my take on the Klingons. I do enjoy playing the Klingon character, especially some of the ships. I really do enjoy the ships. Yeah, for that. So I like some of the designs. I think that's quite a unique design on it. That one was interesting. The Botter's Cube. Love that ship. I do wish it had a hangar bay though. What a mess that ship was. The legendary Bird of Prey. And one of my personal favourites is the Vulture. I must admit, the D7 is probably one of my favourite ships overall. And my favourite's got to be the Constitution refit. But the D7, close second. Even if we look at, even when you had the likes of that, the D9 and that, the TOS version, counter the Atlas, even that was not a bad design. That one just flies funny. Durgath, I think it is. Even the Kelvin ones weren't too bad. They're taking the D7. That D4X, that's a fun ship to fly from the Klingon's perspective. Yes, it's more the social zones. I say most of my time as a Klingon is either on the Dyson sphere, which is normally where I hide out, or it's on DS9. Purely because I can get to everything I need to get to. Exchange, banks, ship customizer, ship selection, security officer as well in DS9. The only ones that are missing is obviously the temporal officer, which I think should be in every major social zone, and I do think that the Dyson should have a security officer as well. But at least the Romulans have got a nice social zone. I do wish they'd hurry up and do an overhaul of the Lifetime sub. I've got it, but it's worth it. You know, it pays itself off in a couple of years. So you're getting the added benefit of that. You get the auto refining of the dill, and you get the extra slots and ship slots, etc. But the ships need an overhaul from it. Because they're far behind, and that captain's table is just a waste of time. And they could have made that zone a lot more unique, and had a lot more benefits on it. You know, unique DOF assignments, unique uniforms, unique weapons, which would have been really nice had they done that. But hopefully, you know, we might see that over the next year or two. They might get round to fixing it, because if they made the Lifetime sub more appealing, then more folk would buy it. And there is quite a few TOS ships, you know, from the likes of the technical manual and that they haven't done, that they could do. Obviously you've got legendary Miranda there, and that's stuck behind that pointless captain bundle. And then really the only ones that you've actually got TOS wise as the TOS skins off the new ships. Oh, sorry, the Constitution class. And I don't think they did anymore. Oh, sorry, the Ranger. And the Perseus. Ah, that's it. See if a couple of small changes. It doesn't need to be anything major, just something small. As you say, give the ships, a full spec seating, for example, or dual spec seating of different specializations, of course, and mix them up. So the Federation gets one combination of specialization, Klingons get the other, Jem'Hadar get the other, Romans get another. And as you say, the captain's table. We'll jump over to it for the folk that haven't seen it. Which means, unfortunately, going back to the Sol system. Hey, Romeo. Yes, the Foundry is something that is sorely missed, but it is something I don't think we'll ever see again in the game. This does take ages to load because it's where everybody seems to hang out. They did a visual update on the Manticore. Was it last year or the year before? That was last year. But actually updating them to current specs, no. I still don't get why everybody sits in the Sol system, I really don't. Between ESD chat, that if you don't switch it off is an absolute nightmare. With folk that should have probably been banned years ago but haven't been. That's the other thing, isn't it? They've changed this to a portal, yet you've still got to warp to it. The entire lot of STO is held together with prayers and tape. And probably a little bit of sticky back plastic. Visually, I quite like this. I think it looks great. What I would like to see is having... there was a series of books called The Captain's Table in the, I think it was the 90s. And they all described an old wooden door leading into a pub. And I thought that would be quite a nice idea to have for social zones on ground. So if you're on Kronos, you can just walk through the door, end up in the captain's table. Same with New Romulus, Earth, Starfleet Academy and so forth. And they've never actually updated that NPC when you first board the station. It gives you a little cryptic message, oh, that isn't for you at this time. I didn't notice the timestamp on it. But they've never went back in to actually say what it was. So we have a bar, well, a lounge, a couple of nice photographs on the wall. That's it. A couple of folk lounging about on the sofas. Then you have almost a massive conference table with a bar. Surely the bar should have been in the lounge area, but fair enough. And you've got your bank, exchange console over here. I noticed that if you use the ship manager in this one, it does screw up traits and doffs. I don't think they've ever got around to fixing it. Otherwise I would stay here permanently because there's nobody else here. So it's usually nice and quiet. Treat injuries. So that is actually working now by the looks of it. Starship repairs, is this working? Oh, it is. For a long time that used to just show your tune. It never ever showed your ship. So at least I've got that bug fixed on it. But that is pretty much it. And a tailor that doesn't have anything unique. Now yes, I could. I say make it something that nobody else can get. And so unique uniforms or uniform pieces. For example, I know that we get the modify that one. Also got the Jupiter veteran ones and the gold, and that as a lifetime bonuses, but even then they could use a bit of an overhaul as well. Yes, unique TFOs, missions, again, unique ships as well. It would be good, because they don't even have a starship vendor here, which is annoying. So if I wanted to grab the Manticore, for example, I have to go all the way back to ESD to pick it up. I say visually it looks great. I could use a little bit of a revamp just to bring it up. Actually put the render scale up a bit. It's from a ship with the barrel shield on it. Very nice. Yes. I'd like to see him do more uniforms. I know we've just got some of the Strange New World ones, which are good. A couple of problems with them, but nothing that can't be resolved. And odds are we'll get the rest of the Strange New World uniforms, probably either in the C-Store or the All-Buy store. And I know people are screaming out for the Strange New World's take on the maroon uniforms, which, to be honest with you, I much prefer the originals. It was just that shiny material on the shoulders that put me off it slightly. But at least Strange New Worlds has tried to keep some continuity going with TOS. But the other annoying thing is the fact that you've got to go to the ship vendor to get the lifetime sub ships, whereas you should be able to get them from the C-Store. It's ironic that you can put the C-Store ships in here, but you can't put the ones from here in the store to be able to get them easier. Heavy Destroyer, there it is there. So this is the Federation lifetime subship. It's got a nice unique mechanic to it. Chimera. I think Mbenga was on before the old doc took over. And then obviously McCoy took over from... Oh, I can't remember the doctor's name now in the pilot episode. But Uhura, obviously they put her on purely to introduce a known character. Chapel and Spock's relationship, yeah. That's a bit questionable story arc to take. Because we've seen in the original series that Chapel had a thing for Spock, but it wasn't reciprocated. So I'm not 100% sure that was the right choice there myself. But let's say we can see where it goes this season. And also Mitchell has changed from Gary Mitchell to, I can't remember the character's full name in this one. Just trying to think of what else. Boyce, that was it. I think what the problem is when it comes to the new Trek, and this normally causes an argument, Discovery was crap because when Kurtzman just ignored 60 years of storytelling and rewrote it to fit what he wanted to do, including the size of the Enterprise, which is why in the game the Discovery Constitution doesn't get bashed with the rest of them because it's bigger. And then Strange New Worlds is pretty much trying to forget Discovery and get back on track with what the original series was, and they've done it to a certain extent. But they seem to forget that they can't go around doing stuff that happens in the original series when it was shown in the original series as the first instance of it. So they have a tight line to walk, and I'm not sure they're walking it entirely correctly, but I do much enjoy Strange New Worlds. It's probably the first Star Trek series I've enjoyed since Enterprise. Then it was DS9 before that. But anyway, that's a rant that could go on for the rest of the stream, funnily enough. Enjoy, Johnny. Yeah, so Gary Mitchell's dead, but Mitchell is currently the navigator in Strange New Worlds. The Gorn, yes. The Gorn, I get why they've done it, because they need to have the enemy for them to try and work round. But I think if they could have made them look more like the original series. You can still have done the CGI, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about putting a guy in a plastic mask. But if they kept maybe more of the features kind of similar. But again, we've only seen hatchlings and one or two later stages. We've not actually seen it, if that's the full look of the species or if it's a subspecies or what. So, well, that was the other point I was alluding to about doing things in Strange New Worlds that happened for the first time 10 years later in the storyline. But sooner as get ready secret hideout, the better. Yes, so as I say, there are some aspects of New Trek which are great. It's kept the franchise alive for a start. It's probably brought in a lot more new fans as well, who went on to look at the original series, TNG, DS9 and so forth, or breathing life into them. So there is a lot of positives, but some of the story arcs and decisions are questionable, in my humble opinion. So, right, anyway, let's get some content done, people. So, now we're wanting random TFOs with random ships. We're wanting a story mission or two. What do we fancy seeing tonight? I say I'm open to pretty much about anything. Within reason, of course. Yeah, I really should clean that mic after spitting that much. You know what? I might take these headphones off as well because this room is actually quite warm tonight. Between it being quite warm outside and having this new rig underneath my desk at the moment, all the heat is coming out of it quite nicely. Largest ship in the game will probably be the Universe class. Switch ship. I think the Borg assimilator's on par with this one, Kane, I think. Ooh, I've actually managed to zoom out quite far. I must have my FOV set. I'm in West Lothian, Scotland. So, near a town called Bathgate. But I have the joys of my dad is from Edinburgh, my mum's from Glasgow, so I get both accents mixed in. And I also work in Glasgow as well, so I do pick up the Ouija quite a bit. So that is one of the biggest ships in the game. I say the Romulan and the Klingon ones are a bit on par with that, and I think the Borg assimilator isn't far off it. It might be slightly bigger. No, I think it's the same width-wise. But obviously it's a more square shape, whereas this has got the length on it. But the problem is that it's fine when it's, you know, a decent... okay, done, yeah. Been down there a couple of times. And you can zoom out like that, it's fine if you set your region. And get out a bit further so you're not crammed right up to it, especially in TFOs. This is it's a fair size ship. Yes, Romeo, we have been pushing that for the last 5 months now. I think I know myself and a few other CCs have been speaking with the CM about it, reminding them that we used to get them almost quarterly before the transition, and it makes no sense not to have had one in 8 months. So that's why I pushed them again when they did their 10 forward last week, and that producer guy, I can't remember his name, did say they have a date set internally for the return of the mud bundles, but they weren't going to share it, which means, well, why wouldn't you? Spencer's trying to sell a Section 31 Vantage Shield for 175 million. Nah, no bother winding them up. So they are coming back. I don't get why it's taking so long. For me, it's easy money for them. You know, if they do it every 4 months, for example, folk will buy Zen when they can, save up for it, buy the ones that they want. Ideally, we'd see 1 month a 35% bundle sale, next month 75% mud sale, following month a legendary sale, month after that the whole mud bundles. Do that 3 times a year. And then everybody knows, oh, in 2 months' time the mud bundles are coming back, for example, I should go and grab some Zen. Or, oh, the 10th anniversary bundle will be back next month, I fancy that, I'll go and put money aside. Whereas, what the hell am I doing? Whereas at the moment, you get told on the day, here's a bundle sale. And it could be mid-month when, you know, you've been paid, but you've been paying all your bills and you've still got your food bills and everything for the rest of the month. That you just can't afford to get it, and then you don't know when it's coming back. So they are leaving a lot of money on the table. Here's your ultimate galaxy. Well, that's exactly it. Kane, I've been in the same position myself. Last year. Hey, Ten Emperor. Yes, I do. I don't have it, but I do like the look of it. I've got the sticks as a poor substitute. But once that goes into a Muds bundle, I tend to pick it up. But yes, again, as I was saying, last year, because we waited almost a full year for the mud bundles returned on Black Friday, I went from wanting to get 8 of them over the course of the year, I bought 2. At the start of this year, I thought, right, next time they come round, there's 4 that I fancy. I'm going to spread that out over the year, and because it's taking so long, I'm now down to 2. So they have lost a lot of sales, and if that pattern holds even for a percentage of the player base, they're losing money. Left, right and Chelsea. But the Wales will make up for it with the lock boxes. But even then, as Spencer saying during his stream as well, that a lot of players are going to gold sellers to get the ships that they want, rather than they don't do the gambling. The gold sellers are making money off the game that Deckard doesn't see, and Deckard does nothing to stop it. So, right, I'll get back to the Dysons because it's too busy here. No, I think last year, because it took so long, I know a few players, ones that classes wannabes, especially the ones that have watched all the CC videos and think buying everything will make them the same as, say, Spencer, for example. And as soon as the mud bundles went on sale, they bought the lot. And the same with, you know, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of keys. Opened a shitload of lot boxes, and have D6 boxes sitting galore, same with promo boxes. But the FOMO has worked in a certain regard. It has got folk going, I don't want to wait another year So I'm just going to get the credit card out and buy what I want to buy just now. And then it's had the opposite effect on a great many players, like yourself, Kane, myself, and quite a few others. I've just went, the longer this goes on, the less I want. So it's swings and roundabouts. Anyway, everybody keeps seeming to want to me rant about stuff tonight rather than play the game. Let's see what I've missed on chat. That's why this is scrolling in and out, because I'm scrolling back. I'm thinking the E to the J is the best looking, especially with the Emperor's Vanity Shield. Now, be questionable in that one. That's only because I'm a Vanity Shield addict. I never really liked the Ambassador class. And Garrett was alright, but I think they could have done it better. It was still too Federation looking for a mixed match between that and a Klingon ship, to be honest. TOS Connie's nice, but I'd say I much prefer the refit. That me pretty much. Terran Emperor as faction, yes. I think that would be a great thing. We've already got half the assets in it that we need. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get any new factions anytime soon, because I'd very much like to see a Terran Empire faction, you know, going to Terran Space Dock, etc. But I think the storyline would have to be, you know, very unique and not be, you know, like doing the story missions. You'd have to have a different take on it. You'd have to be a true Terran Empire. None of this suddenly all being goody and helping folk out. You'd want them to be trying to conquer them, or wiping them out. So, but yes, that I'd love to see an Enterprise era faction as well, and I'd like the Romulans to be their own damn faction as well. Don't have them having to select Federation or Klingon. Make them their own faction. We've got cross-faction flying. You know, it's not 2015 or whenever it was that they introduced it. Same with the Jem'Hadar. Yes, it's not. It is turning into a rant stream, I know. Don't know how to push my buttons. But yes, as Furry says, the true reason to play the game is to have fun. And everybody's version of fun's different in this game, which is great. Yeah, folk like to roleplay, folk like to play with ships, folk like to do builds, folk like to DPS. There's something for everybody. I like getting new toys to play with. It's the reason that my ship slots are full and I've still got ships sitting in dry dock. The Endeavour system. I think that I get what they did with the Endeavour system. Personally, I would have done it in smaller increments, in order to give them a more annual increase, so folk could still get caught up every year if they wanted to. But I think the rewards should have been spread out more evenly. And to be perfectly honest with you, doing 7 years of grind just to get a vanity shield, it's not really worth it. But I think if they'd done, say, every 100 or 150 progress, that you got something where it'd be a unique outfit, low buy, forget about titles, different shields, anything like that, and then just spread it out so everybody gets something as they progress through. Because I say I'm only at 405, and that's because for many years I wasn't playing on PC, I was playing over on console due to not having a PC after my second to last one gave up the ghost many years ago. And also I never really bothered with the Endeavour system because it was never properly explained what it actually did. To me, it was looking at three things down here going, I can't be bothered going getting Gorn, or I can't be bothered going getting this. If I did it just through normal gameplay, then fantastic. But I didn't go out my way to do it. And then it was only in the last couple of years that I've really been focusing on getting all 3 or 4 of them done each day. Now there would be a nice addition to the lifetime sub. Double Endeavour points. I think that would be a big hit. There are annoying a lot of players that don't have the lifetime sub, but so but I do hope they take the feedback on board and start doing bonus Endeavour weekends. I think that would be a good compromise. And bonus points for 4 days. Right, what we're talking about the Kelvin for? It's pinging me. So, when it came to the Kelvin timeline, it was supposed to be a divergent one, but the fact that they went for almost a TMP era kind of look to them does make me kind of think divergent, yes, but also an alternative timeline, because otherwise the only thing that would change is after Kirkstad died. Everything before that, we still have the same Constitution ships, we still have the same visuals, the same technology, also updated for modern technology, and that compared to the TOS, it couldn't foresee this far ahead. But yeah, but again, that was Mr. Lens Flare. I'm definitely have to go and cool down after this rather long. Oh, Spencer, you could have gave me that Omni. I want one of those pulse phaser ones. Just to go on one of my theme builds. Yeah, so a docking cutscene would be nice. I think what I'd really like to see is, if they were going down to that level, is rather than having, obviously it's got the Enterprise and ESD at the moment, but having something similar to like World of Warships have with their harbours. So it's your ships. So you go to a specific docking bay, for example in ESD, and that's your ship selector. So all your ships are in the dock. that I would like to see. Whether or not they can actually do it with the current engine or not is a different question. So it's very clear that JJ didn't like Star Trek. As we've seen, having a brewery as engineering hull of the Enterprise. I was going to say my gun disappeared, but then I realised I was in an EV suit. Hell's up there that I'm shooting? Interesting. Why am I coughing in an EV suit? Things are now in the ceilings, apparently. Yeah. I know in this case, because it's a Thorium cannon, these electric devices are now up top rather than down here. When you switch an EV suit, the cannon doesn't show. I think it also stops certain cosmetic pieces. Oh, wrong one, sorry. There we go. EV suit. I'm shooting radiation from my hands. Once I get a red alert, I can change back. There we go. Out of EV suit, and the gun is back. Yeah, I think you're right, Democracy. If they went down the route of those books I was talking about earlier on, Captain's Table books from the 90s, where there's an old pub door on planets and social zones. The Precom. That's terrible for I shouldn't even laugh. That was disgraceful. Jokes.
Get out there and stop them.
I'm off a habit on the ground. I keep forgetting that I've got kit modules and everything on. And I keep forgetting to activate them. To be honest, unless it's events or the pop and randoms, I rarely do ground content. Have a chance. There's something else I'd quite like to see in the game. Not the Section 31 movie, God no. But a recruit. I'm going to say they've been rescued. So a Section 31 recruit, and as much as I really hate to say this, on the Discovery tune, because it's the only one that doesn't have faction, not faction, recruit event on it. So TS has got the Temporal, we've got the 2409 plus KDF and Romulan for the Delta, Then you've also got the Gamma one for the Jemadar. So the Discovery What faction's only one that doesn't have a recruit event. So that would probably be the place to put a Section 31. And for the Romulans, a Tel Shiar one would be good. No, mate. I almost got the wrong door. There we go. Romulans would be having a field day with it. I thought about picking up one of the Phoenix Store ships. I'll be looking in a minute. Right, I'm going to take a quick 2 minutes. I'm going to open this office door and try and get some ventilation in here. So I shall be back in a couple of minutes. And I'm back. Much to a lot of folks' disappointment, probably. See if I get comfortable in the seat again. So, let's see. Don't really fancy the Fikiri. Definitely don't fancy the Benton. Tired of the Science Compiler. And there really isn't any of these ships I actually really fancy. Kelvin Dreadnought, you say? One Kelvin Dreadnought. Yeah, so the T6 Connie best one's probably the Shangri-La. It's got a good console on it. It's a 5.3 as well, so it's good for multiple builds. The trade-off, it's not terrible if you time it right. Switch over to that then. A fire will build on it. Oh, it's going to make it a classic, shall we? Yes, there is that small catch. In order to get that, you do need either the 10th anniversary bundle or the one that's in the Muds bundle. Can't remember the name of it. A temporal light cruiser. That's a promo ship, so that'll run probably around about 1.5 to 1.7 billion EC, or you get it from the campaign event if you want it. Because there's a legendary one. Just trying to remember what's on it. It's another double miracle worker one. Got a wee bit of survivability trait, and the best diplomat doesn't really get much use these days. Now, fortunately, that's only 2 options of getting that, so I know it did cause a lot of problems. Find a hacker that works for free. You can possibly comment. So that's only 2 ways to get the TOS skin, because even if you get the where did it go? Where did it go? Starter pack, that's why. Yeah, even if you get that one, you're still not unlocking the skin. No, you're getting the T1 or the T2 version of the ship. I think it's T1. But even having that doesn't give you the skin, unfortunately. Let's take this into a random and see what happens. Oh, matter of fact, actually, I did say I was going to take that list, didn't I? Let's get the Atlas and just see if I've got the same visual issue that a lot of people have had. I don't think I've had this one out since it got the update. Or maybe I have, can't remember. No. No, mine's is intact. I must have had it out since the update. But I can't believe they made it smaller. I know that somebody asked me on one of the recent videos why I don't use the Dyson Sphere. We're doing the Vanity Shield videos, and you'll see this shadowing effect. So as you rotate round, you've got these shadows just going right over the hull regardless of what zone you're in. So that's why I don't use the Dyson Sphere for the shield videos. Right, let's do another random. Yes, they made it smaller. And I've got a sneaky suspicion that's because the Atlas 2 is coming in. Which I would imagine would probably be a TMP era version of the ship. Most likely another lockbox one. Because you'll see that the Atlas is still quite popular. Especially when it got put into MUDs for the DPRM. So hopefully they think it's for the DPRM and not for the seating. Yeah. I don't think they're done with the messing about with the ship somehow. I will see a lot of interesting tweaks over the next year or two. Thanks very much, appreciated stopping by. Oh, I appreciate that as well. Very much appreciated. Right, what are we going to get this time? Space or ground? Something interesting or 10 gated hell? Let's find out. What we getting? Oh, the suspense is building. Pariah 3, oh Jesus. Bug hunt.
Welcome to Pariah 3.
Nice fleet patron there. GM Hadarna suit. Interesting. I have to say, out of all the ground ones, Bug Hunt I don't mind too much. I do hope, however, when they do Feast this year that they actually unlock the TFOs so you can still do Advanced and Elites. Because the Swarm is only one to get the Gamma pieces, and the last couple of years it's been, for that month, there was no way to get them. So it's been reported, I know, every year to them, but hopefully this year they take note and unlock the, just do an event version of the TFO, so we can still do Advanced and Elites if we want to.
Fire in the hole! Obstacle clear.
And just whilst we're talking about events, here's hoping that they change them next year so that we can get some different ones where some of the more unique TFOs that we don't get to see pop very often. As long as we don't do a Daisy Doom one, I think we'll be fine.
Fire in the hole! Clear to proceed.
Yeah, I finished it on the last one. That We had an awful Tholian one. I was going through quite a bit of a burnout at the time, so I ended up just buying them out. It was the same with Riser. Bought out Riser because A, I just couldn't face a month of doing Riser, and B, I was doing the video on the ship. So from a channel perspective, it was more of a business expense. So, but the ship itself's not too bad. The whole ship for a freebie.
Fire in the hole! Area clear.
Did you do them after you bought them out?
Scans show that we need to jump down this narrow fissure in the rock. Be careful. I don't know what's waiting for us at the bottom.
Yeah, that thing shoot at my back. Good one. Right.
According to our scans, there's a tunnel under us. Give me a moment and I'll clear a path.
So
Fire in the
each
hole!
event's 750.
Watch that first step.
So you do the first day, buy it out, and that would give you 800. And then, if you wanted to get the campaign done quicker, you then go and do the event anyway, and just get the extra progress plus obviously dilithium as well. As the problem I had was I bought out the first one, but they screwed up and I only got half the progress on it. I spoke to customer services about it and they were good, but they couldn't add in the additional progress, so they just refunded my Zen, which to be honest it wasn't too bad. I've got 2 free-to-play accounts that are still doing the events, but once the campaign's finished on them, that's then they're done, because running 3 PC accounts and 1 Xbox account is just far too much. So free-to-plays will get retired after the event reward, campaign reward. So. I don't know which one's going to be next, because normally we have the Hell with Honor, and then some years we get the Voth one, so I don't know if we're getting that this year. Yeah, just drop them a mail and just say, "Oi, I want my Zen back. Gimme, gimme, gimme." That was like that last year when the Heritage bundle dropped. I was over in Holland at the time for work, and I bought it during the 25% off sale, and then the following week they put it on a 35% bundle sale. I spent 2 weeks emailing customer services and eventually got the difference in Zen back. I know some other folk were still arguing at the point, and I just gave them my reference number and just said, just send them this. Here's my reference number, just tell them to do exactly the same as they did for me since I've already done it once. They should do it for every player. So, a lot of it, they hope that we'll just forget about it and go away. I'm very surprised I haven't actually done a 35% bundle sale during the release of the new bundle. I half expected it. Ideal, so I'm going to wrap it up there, I'm afraid, people. A bit earlier than normal, I'm afraid, but I do have some other things I need to go and take care of. So if there's any final questions or anything, feel free to ask. See who's playing over on Twitch, if there's anybody. This one here's like. Yes, I do intend to pick up the Jupiter this week, and see how that goes. So over on Twitch, I'm going to read out to Vic Rose 53. And for the rest of you, I shall catch you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.